Hold please. I got my oh, don't get tangled. Hi everybody. Happy Friday. Oh my gosh, the days go by so fast. Yeah, the days are long, the years are short, or the years are, but some days go by fast, especially in this hot market, huh? What are we doing today? Let's get right into it. Today we have just listed 193 homes, which is phenomenal. I haven't seen that number. I can't tell you when. We put 99 under contract, and we had 112 closings. And we have almost 24 days of inventory, 23.9. That's close enough for me. So every day this week has gotten better and better. The past 10 days. How phenomenal. We have 2,973 available single-family homes, and 1,013 of those are under 400,000. And that's, there's variety out there. Which is really good. 1,013 single family homes under 400,000. And yesterday you listed 68 single family homes under 400,000. So you listed 112. 193 you listed yesterday, and 68 of those were under 400,000. So that tells me the price point's going up there pretty high. Let's see. You made it, Karen. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I know it's your settings. I just, it's hard to get there. Hey, Frank. Long time no see. Frank was in our class yesterday. Jimmy and I did a great law class. It was really good. Really, really good. Let's look at the $1 million homes. We have 872 that have been sold this year, which is almost 4.5 a day. And last year we were only doing like 1.5 a day. So big difference this year. We have 470 available $1 million plus homes on the market. That's a good number. And I always like to draw your attention to the equity. That's a big, something that you can really, really, really shout out to. You're on your iPhone. Well, that might make a difference. Is that usually your problem, maybe, Karen? I don't know. I'm sorry. If you're ever up in my area, I get to the office around 10, and we usually leave before 4. But anyway, just stop by my office. I've been trying to get down to your side of town, but I haven't been able to. But let me know when you're over there doing your class, maybe on what I think you do your sales meetings on Sunset. Anyway, just let me know sometimes when you're close by. And but I think that you need your computer to fix the issue, but we'll talk about that. Let's move on here. Today, I want to talk about the $1 million checklist, and I'm going to hide this, and I want to get started so that we don't run out of time. It worked. Here's your $1 million checklist. Now, why $1 million checklist? Well, let's say that in the next several years, you want to make $1 million. Well, you've got to start doing that now. So here's what some of the coaches have suggested. We're talking Tom Ferry coaches, people like that, Mike Ferry, and even Brian Buffini. We'll get into him too, how we move this into his win the day. So you're going to wake up an hour earlier. Yes, you are. And you're going to go to bed an hour earlier. Yes, you are. So once you complete your morning routine, and people pray in the morning, people meditate in the morning, people exercise in the morning, whatever it is, you need to complete your morning routine. And routine means that you do it every day. And then number 3, you're going to get to your desk by. Now, I didn't say your office. I said your desk, because many of us work from home sometimes, or we don't necessarily work from the office. So you filled in the time. What time do you really want to start your workday? I get up 4:30, 5, and I do my exercise, my run. Then I get back here, 6:30, and I start my routine. Now, my exercise is part of my routine. I should say I get to my desk by about 6:30, and I start working on the stats. I start working on the show. I figure out what I'm going to do. And sometimes, Jimmy pops by, and then my show gets a little bit, it gets a little out of sync sometimes, but, I still love Jimmy coming on the show. He doesn't have that much control over his mornings like I do, I guess. He's a broker, of a lot of agents, and agents call. I just looked down at my phone, and I've got stuff on my phone. Anyway, that's the way it goes. So you fill in your time. And when you get there, you need to figure out how many appointments is your goal for the day. Now, if you're just starting this and there's no time like today to start it, or let's say Saturday or Monday, let's say that you want to make 6 appointments or 4 appointments or 3, whatever it is, but figure out for that day how many appointments you want to make. And right now it might be 1, but that's okay. You have to get started though. Number 4, you're going to review the daily stats. Now I give you the daily stats. So you need to know your market. You've got to know your market, because when you're calling people or you're meeting people or whatever you're doing, they want to know how the market is. They just do. And you need to review the hot sheets, like that would be like for your office, perhaps. I've always been a broker, so I'm not sure if you have access to what I have access to. So what I do for you is I tell you as much as I can about the market. I've added, like how many homes under 400,000 there are, so on and so forth. So anyway, know your market. Review your daily stats. It doesn't take that long. And hopefully part of your daily routine is watching my show. And if you can't watch it live, what my video fellows do is that they take the stat part of it and they make 2 shows. They make one with just the stats, and then they make one with the second part of the show, which is things like this. And that's on YouTube. And I think they also post that everywhere else as well. So there's 2. If you just want to do the stats, it takes like maybe 5 minutes. I go through the stats pretty quickly anymore. And then you can always go to Ruthie Rocks, the group on Facebook, and download it. So I do that for you. But you need to review them so you know. And then 15 minutes of aggressive role playing. Overcoming objections. Your choice. Here's an example. Let's say you want to up your price point. And so that means you're going to start farming in a different subdivision than you farmed in before. When John and I started farming in Red Rock Country Club, of course, the first question was, the first appointment we went on was, how many homes have you sold in Red Rock? And we hadn't sold, let's see, John had surgery in 2018. So we had a little gap, because before then we were selling, at least 1 a quarter in here. We were very active. John was playing golf. We were just very active in the social life up here. And we got a lot of listings that way. But then when he got the operation, we kind of stepped back for a year or 2. And I think we sold 4. Well, we were still doing 4 a year. So anyway, we told the people 4. And we told them, what the time frame was in the last 12 months or whatever. But that was, that can be a showstopper. So role play so that you understand how you're going to overcome that objection. And I see where George O'Brien, he started to do open houses here in Red Rock. So that might be a good way to get into a neighborhood and get a home sold, right? Is go sit other people's open houses and get 1 or 2 sales under your belt. And then when you're ready to do your listing campaign, you can answer that question, or I'm sure, George is, I love George O'Brien. He's great with his talking and listening. He asks questions and he listens. And I know that he does open houses here, and I see where he's done some sales in here. And that it didn't take long. It didn't take long. And people right now, we listed 193 homes yesterday. People are selling their homes because of the equity they built up and the low interest rates and all the new homes that are coming on the market, new builds. And people were in that pandemic secluded home for 14 months, however, 17 months sometimes, depending on where they live, and they want to change. So this is a great time to get listings if you want to start your list to last campaign. Most people, when they first get in the market, they do buyers because there's buyers in Vegas. They're everywhere, right? They're coming here by the droves. So, but anyway, number 6, hour power with follow-up and book appointments. So your hour power, you need to determine how many phone calls you are going to make, how many emails you're going to send, how many, what exactly are you going to do to start booking appointments. And your hour of power might be going and doing pop-bys and leaving things on people's doorsteps, or remember this. Let me put this up on the screen. The text script, hey, hope you and the fam are well. Let me put this down here so you can see it. I'll move myself. Is it going to work? Oh, it worked. I love it when it works. Texting script. Texting is the phone call of 2021 and 2022. And it says, hey, Ruthie, I hope you and the fam are well. Crazy times. The real estate market is bananas. If you haven't heard, and I was reaching out to see if you were curious about the new value of your home. Now, the only thing I would add to this, and I'm very adamant about this, that you need to video this to your whoever you're sending it to. Just video it. Look at here, you can hold your phone up, do your texting, and you're going to say, hey Frank, I hope you and the fam are well, and it's a video that you're saying. It's a video, and you can just look at the script, and they don't know you're looking at the script, and then until you get it to where you feel comfortable. But this is really, really a good way to connect with people and get appointments. Are you curious about the new value of your home? I mean, of course they are, right? I mean, of course they are if they want to sell. And let's go back up here. Oh, it's going to work. Yes. So your hour of power should include a video texting. And then you have to track your numbers. So number 7 is track your numbers. So you're going to make 23 calls, have 8 conversations. You got 1 lead, you got 1 appointment. And according to Tom Ferry, 2,000 leads equal 100 deals equals $1,200,000 a year. 2,000 leads. Well, that's a lot of, he made 23 calls to get 1 lead. So you do the math. It's all in the math. And you may be better than this person's stats. Let's see here. Where'd it go? So you have to do your own numbers. And where do my other numbers go here? Let's see. Let me get rid of this. Okay, let me go get my other numbers. Hold, please. Yeah, it's always an adventure. Yeah, always an adventure. Track your numbers. Like Jimmy says, you can't hit the target if you don't know what it is. So let's put this down and we'll go to number 8 in our checklist, and we'll go me down here. Okay, so check in on your pending and your escrows and your listings. Meet with your assistant. Stay ahead of problems. I have a little note here, the car story. Tom Ferry said that when he bought a Tesla, $100,000 Tesla, and he found it online, exactly what he wanted. He called the dealership. So he said that took 7 minutes of his time. He spent another 5 minutes on the phone with the salesman at the dealership, and he went down, picked up the car. It was a lease, signed the paperwork, and he said it was as easy as that. 1, 2, 3. And he said that's how we need to strive to make our transactions. They need to be smooth. And I know that's not always easy. I talk about Yvette Hansen, and John's doing a deal with her, and she had her buyer all ready to go. I mean, down to, and a great lender. I talked about this the other day, and everything was just going beautifully. The inspection went beautifully, the due diligence, everything. And now all of a sudden, the appraiser's holding this up. It was very smooth. And we had talked to the seller when we listed the house, and there were really no comps because he had done so many upgrades. And these were upgrades that weren't just paint and wallpaper and things like that. These were, like he put solar panels on the casita so he could heat the pool. They were paid for. They weren't a lease. He totally owned them 100%. Everything he did was he put like those sliders that opened up the whole living room and kitchen to the patio outside. He extended the patio. So these were structural and actual really good improvements that he made to the home. And it was hard to find a comp. And so now it's a VA loan, and hopefully they're going to do some Tidewater. And what we found out in this transaction is they will go for Tidewater. They will actually go farther out than 2 miles. And this is a $1.3 million deal. There's no limit on VA anymore. But I have to tell you, VA has really upped their game. And they are really working hard for the veterans. So that's the good news. So I'm on pins and needles, of course, to see what the appraisal is going to be. So check in on your pending escrows and your listings, and meet with your assistant and stay ahead of problems, and try to make the transaction like Tom Ferry's car story easy. And manage people's expectations. That's huge. That's huge. That's what I was just referring to. We told our seller that, we couldn't find a comp for what he wanted, but we looked at all the upgrades and we knew that it had the value. So now, number 9, social media posts. Of course, my deal is, 5 shares, 5 comments, 5 likes, and 5 direct messages. And, you don't have to do that every day. I mean, back in the beginning, we used to say 5, 5, and 5 and do it 5 days a week. But I think, if you do this 3 or 4 times and you're getting engagement, that's just going to really bring a lot of business back to you. And you need to post your website and get visitors to your website and have lead capturing on your website. Send Frank is very creative with his videos that he does, and hopefully he's driving business to his website. So social media isn't going away. It's not going away. And then number 10, you need to figure out how many appointments did you make, right? And it'll have a snowball effect. It will really have a snowball effect. So we said over here, in the first slide, we said, get to your desk by whatever time, and you fill in the time, and how many appointments are your goal for the day. Now, it might be 1 for the week right now if you're just starting on your $1 million checklist, but you need to You need to get that momentum going. And now get your calendar out. There's 164 days left in this year from today. And count the days off from now until the end of the year. Well, I already counted. There's 22 Sundays. We've got Labor Day. We have Nevada Day. We have Thanksgiving. We have Christmas. We have New Year's Eve. So how many holidays are there? And then how many vacations are you going to take? Extra days here and there. And so let's say that leaves 100 days. So, that's 100 days to accomplish your goals. And how many appointments do you think you can make in 100 days? So that's the checklist. And it's really basic. I mean, this stuff is really basic stuff, but this is a mindset. Your mind has to be in the routine of the $1 million checklist. It's a routine. That's all this is, with some pointers here and there. And then, when we talk about Brian Buffini, how to win the day. And this is perhaps the goals for the day. And when it says win the day, he also, if you look, he says, remember, win 2 hours, you win the day. Win 4 days, you win the week. Win 3 weeks, you win the month. Win 8 months, you win the year. I think that this is these two things combined. Like Tom and Mike Ferry, I got the $1 million checklist from. And then when you put it into this type of I keep this on my in front of me all the time, wherever I'm working, whether it's at home or at the office. And what sticks out the most for me is how to win the day. I want to win the day. And I see that if I take my baby steps, like I do my routine and I do what I'm supposed to do, then I've won the day. And that's only 2 hours to win the day. It's only 2 hours, right? And then you win the week. It's a different way of looking at it. Like the week you did 7 Popeyes. Okay. And then you hosted maybe a business lunch, or you grabbed a coffee with a favorite client. So there's different ways. And all of this is about how are you going to make your appointments? Remember, we said you need to have a goal for appointments. Well, these two mesh together. They're just different ways of looking at it. But in the win the day, you have the checklist because you have to have a routine. That's the point of the checklist, is the routine. And for Brian Buffini, he says 8 months, you win the year. So that means 4 months, you only have to work 8 months. So let's see, 4 months is how many days? 30 times 4. So there's 120 days in the year that you're not going to be working. I mean, and we just showed you on the previous slide. Let's put this back up here for a minute. Oops, not that one. Ruthie, this one. Okay, yeah, here. Out of the 164 days that are left in this year, right, you're going to work 100. So 64 and 64 is 128. So we're darn close, right, to what Buffini says. And it's funny because I know that Buffini and Tom Ferry, I know they watch and listen to each other, right? But they just have their own styles. And I like to combine them so that you can find your style and how you relate to things. I think they're two of the best coaches in the country, in our industry, actually. So I really like to blend them. And I wanted to blend them today doing this. I have a few more minutes. I have 4 more minutes. So I want to share something else with you today. We talked about this before. There's 150 million homeowners in the United States and 21 million investment homes. And if you are not using Remind and you are not going in there and getting the non-owner occupied homes in Las Vegas, and there's thousands of them, you're missing a big opportunity, because it's a great time for investors to sell. It is really a great time for investors to sell and maybe move up to, and I think I've said this 2 or 3 times in the past week, or past 2 weeks. So you go into Remind, you pull the list, you add to your database all the non-owner occupies, and you mail them. And then you send the mailers to their primary residence. Okay, you want where they live, not their address of their investment home. And so for the first one that you write, you hand address it, you hand stamp it, non-branded, include reviews if you have any or not, and then a letter from a letter about the buyer that you're helping. And if you have the phone numbers, make the calls, and then direct message them, or on social, you can do that if you don't have their phone number. And then here's a sample of the first letter. It's going to say, I hope this finds you and yours doing well. I've been searching for a home for my clients, the Burks. They have 2 kids, 2 dogs, and desperately want to live in Desert Shores. I saw that you own 123 Harbor Cove as an investment property. And I'm just curious, with prices peaking, an election cycle, or other details, like with prices peaking, with interest rates low, would you be open to selling your property? We can assist your tenants in finding a new place. And of course, I work with lots of investors on trading up through 1031 tax exchanges. So you might want to brush up on the rules of tax exchanges. So would you let me know? And even just send me a text saying no, so I can let my clients know, would be greatly appreciated. And then you put your phone number respectfully, Karen or Frank or Ruth, whoever's writing the letter. And you hand stamp it, and don't brand it, and you write everything versus doing labels. And this is working. It's working for many people. And if you can call them, then you say, hi, Frank. Here, I sent you a letter about your property on 123 Harbor Cove. And did you receive it? Well, have you considered trading that property? Would it be helpful to get an updated valuation on the home? I can send it to you via text or email, whichever's better. While I'm doing it, do you own any other investment properties you'd like valuations on? So that can be a slide dial. It can be a call. Me, I would be texting them. If I can call them, I can text them, and I can do a video saying this. And I'm just telling y'all, it's really working for the people that are doing it. And then, of course, you need to know and act on your daily number. And we talked about the $1 million checklist, and that's a real journey there. That's a marathon. And of course, our business is not a sprint. We know that. So it's built over time. But just know what you want and know what your goals are. It's very important. And if you remember, we did this a couple of weeks ago. The number of annual sales this person wanted was 24. And 50 is the number of calls that you have to make times 24, or 50 times 24, which is 1,200 conversations. And you divide that by the 10 months or 8 months, whichever. And then it's 120 conversions a month. Divide that by 20 days, 6 conversations a day. So you just apply this math to what your goals are. But it's a numbers game. It's just numbers. And you've got to get over the fear and get into the numbers. I love you all. I hope you all are going to come to our LinkedIn and our Google Business class on Monday, 10 to 1. If you've taken our social media class before, we don't charge you, but we would appreciate it. Just text me that you're coming so that I don't overbook it. And LinkedIn, we're going to show you how you do everything. We show you how to do it, not just what to do. We're going to get your Google business page set up properly. We have a free lunch, and you can sign up at be.vegas. And again, if you've taken the class before and you want to come, just text me so that I can reserve your spot in the class. I don't like to overbook, of course, because this class is hands-on. So Kane and I are going around and making sure that everybody knows, how to do the things that we're teaching you to do, because we want you to when you walk out of that class, we want you to definitely have learned how to do what we're teaching. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, Friday. I